so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads. Welcome to a very special episode dedicated to none other than you, the pea heads themselves. I am your pea head enthusiast and hostess for the day, Alexa Hauser. I have been blessed to have the experience of helping out with Positive Head social media for the better part of a year. And through my digital interactions, I began to realize, as did Brandon, that we have some incredible beings listening to this show who are taking the information that Brandon puts out through the podcast and using it to transform their lives and create wonderful things. You listeners are all a huge, huge part of the life force that propels this show forward through time and space, and we think it's time to bring forth some of you beautiful reflections and delve a little deeper into this collection of energy that is the Positive Head community. So as we shine the spotlight on our listeners, what we'll have them do is share their stories of how they attracted Positive Head into their life, the transformation it's facilitated for them, and what they're focused on creating now that they're in a more positive headspace. Also, this episode of the Positive Head podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. Hello, all you positive heads. On this week's Pea Head Posse episode, our guest is Positive Head listener Melanie Larson. Melanie is a spiritual seeker who still feels strong, young, and full of joy at 63 years old. She has 3 great kids and a 7-year-old grandson who has wisdom beyond his years. Melanie's journey began when an abusive experience at the age of 6 acted as the catalyst for her quest to connect with her inner being. It is Melanie's desire that everyone feel the joy inside of them that is longing to burst out. Hi, Melanie. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Alexa. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
Wonderful. Very nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, you go ahead.
No, I'm so happy that we could, finally connect and make this happen. You've been so supportive on social media, and we've spoken a bit, and I'm excited to have you on here.
Good. I'm excited to be here, and I love your new podcast, Inner Bloom. I'm a bloomer.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Well, so why don't you share a bit of your story about, your journey? I know you said it essentially started when you were 6. Why don't you share with the Positive Head audience, your story and how you got to this point?
Okay. Well, I want to tell my story, and in order to do that, I need to mention what happened to me when I was 6 years old. I was left with a friend and was sexually abused. And during the time of the sexual abuse, I felt this being, and I felt this other being floating above me. And so my whole journey has been seeking that feeling, because I remember a calm and love, and I look back now and it was my inner being, and I know it. So I went through many, many, many years seeking that peace and calm and that love that I felt during that time. And I married, I got into the church, and just nothing gave me a peace and a calm. I couldn't find that, but yet I knew it was very real. It was a very vivid memory that I had. And then I had 3 lovely children during my journey, and that was a beautiful time in my life. I have very fond memories of that, but I never felt that connection with my inner being. And therefore, I started seeking drugs any way I could to get a calm, to get a feeling of peace. And I was never able to seek it until I found positive heads. And I found it about maybe almost 2 years ago. And I just resonated with Brandon so much. And I felt that I had finally found my people. I felt that somebody got me, my craziness and my constant anxiety. I just felt that somebody got me for the first time in my life. And it was absolutely beautiful. And then listening to Brandon, many episodes, and one I'll share with you later about an interview he did with Christopher, I found Abraham Hicks. And Abraham Hicks' teachings have changed my life. And I love that for the first time I felt somebody got me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm with you. I keep forgetting that I found Abraham Hicks through this podcast as well, and like I can't imagine my life without them. So it's amazing.
Oh, she's amazing, awesome teacher, and I now know my inner being. I have an inner being that it's changed my life, Alexa. It has.
Yeah.
I'll try not to cry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting. And if you don't mind, just going back real quick to where this all started.
No.
Just that
Absolutely.
Just that you felt, was it like? So, are you saying that in this experience that was a negative experience? You'd say that you felt yourself go to this very positive place.
I did, and through many years of therapy, I did find out that this was a often the way someone who is being sexually molested will do is they'll kind of disconnect, and it's almost a safe place. I never felt a disconnect. I felt this it was part of me. Is the best way I can describe it. It was a part of me that I never felt anything but love, and I feel at times that the disconnect was needed for that love to stay, if that makes any sense. That the because of the act that it had to separate, and that's how I connected as my inner being. And the best way I can describe it. Yeah,
that's really interesting. So, what was your over the next several years? What was did you ever have another experience like that where you felt that connection again, or?
I didn't. And I look back and I was always seeking it. I was always seeking that connection. I felt it was real. And I went off in all different directions to try to get that without even realizing I was seeking it. I just knew that's where I needed to be. I needed to connect with that inner being. And I went through years of therapy just to try to figure it out, and I just never found. I always felt like an alien. And the one thing that I went into group therapy for this sexual abuse, and it was the only time that someone said, "Do you feel like an alien?" And I went, "Oh my gosh, that's how I feel." Yeah. Yeah. Very, yeah. All led me to where I am, though. And I've always had a positive attitude about the sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Always had this is what led me to where I am. This is what gave me my insight and just the nature of who I am. That was part of it. So I always tried to accept the positivity of it. But I never quite forgave the act or the person until recently.
And how was that for you? Because that's, as an EFT practitioner, that's like a big part of, it can really, free up some stuff for you, right?
It has made me very emotional, but I have made more of a connection with everything. I just needed to see this man as a very sad little boy. Is the best way that I can describe it.
Yeah.
And when I started doing meditation, when I started visualizing him as someone who was near me instead of far away, I started to feel a love and a connection and a sadness that I had never felt before. There was always somewhat of a little anger.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, yeah.
It's so beautiful when you can, for anyone in their journey, because we all have, I
Yes.
think most of us have these catalyzing moments, right?
Yes.
Where things got pretty bad. I mean, or I think a lot of us do, things got pretty bad in order to kind of wake us up. And, it is such a beautiful moment when you can finally come to that moment of forgiveness and realizing, that we are all connected, right? And it's like,
yeah.
And it's hard, but it's so freeing when you can do that and when you can bring love and like you said, I mean, in like I said, that's a big part of all of my EFT sessions. When anything like this has happened, it's like, like Abraham always talks about, right? That no one would be doing anything like that to anyone if they weren't hurting a lot themselves, right? And
right.
So,
right.
And so
how? Yeah, you said the word freeing.
Yeah.
Freeing is the word. And I feel that more now than I've ever felt it. For the last little over a year, my life has, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I see my children differently. I love deeper. It's the best. I mean, yeah.
And
there's just a deeper love.
And are you saying that's a result of the forgiveness?
I do. I think it's the forgiveness of not only that man, but the forgiveness of everyone. This leads me to a good story I'd like to tell you about Brandon. Yes, as far as judgment. I always saw myself as a person that accepted everything, very open-minded. You could tell me everything. I gotcha. And one day, Brandon was interviewing someone, and I can't remember who it was. It was a female, but she had said something that affected me personally, and I mentioned it to Brandon through the Facebook. I said that I felt she was judgy. And so Brandon said, I'm going to bring this up at one of the podcasts. And I said, okay, well, the one podcast that he did, he brought it up with Christopher, who I love.
Yeah, I remember
Christopher Jackson.
Yes.
And he said, oh my gosh, this has changed my life. He said, she's doing just what she's accusing her of doing. And I went, I fell to the ground and began to cry. And since then, I have been noticing judgment when I judge people, when I judged the man who sexually abused me. I had judged him my whole life. I don't know him. I didn't know anything about him. But that interview with Christopher, literally, I hit a wall, and it was beautiful. I needed to see that. So since then, I am much more aware of my judgment of others, of anyone, my children, my grandson, just judging them, thinking they're thinking what I'm thinking, and what a mess that is. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful. And it takes, I'm impressed that you took what you took from that, because I feel like, and I know this group is different, because we're all kind of on the path and we're all kind of looking to expand and grow. But still, it's like when, we feel very strongly about something, right?
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to hear things. And I mean that by like, we literally can't hear it. Like sometimes it's hard to really understand other points of view. So I think it's truly amazing that, you put that out there and right back, you got that podcast episode and that you truly like took that in and it changed you. That's powerful. It's powerful, and
Yeah.
and it shows you, everyone listening, it shows you, you know, what we're doing here. Like, it shows you how powerful this platform is and all of our opinions are.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And like, look what it's done for you. Like what you're describing, it's like I'm sitting here smiling so much.
Oh.
And I feel so at peace right now. I can't even describe it. Well, I just feel such amazing energy from you, Melanie. So that's
You know what's funny, Alexa, is the one thing that hit me the hardest is that's the one thing I thought I was good at.
yeah.
It just got, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It just goes to show you, I go, oh man, I got this. I don't judge people.
Yeah.
And it is the one thing that, oh my gosh, it has been holding me up. Yeah. So
wow.
it is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And isn't that amazing about life, right? That it always kind of brings us back around to the things we think we got, right? Like, oh yeah, you think you got this, but here's a whole nother perspective of it. Isn't that like amazing? Yeah.
It's the universe. It's like, this is what we need to see. It's almost like there's two ends of a spectrum. When you think you got it, there's always something to learn, always. It's mind-blowing.
That's so true. I was just watching this. There's a guy, he's like an entrepreneur. His name is Ty Lopez. I was just watching like a little talk with him, and he said something that blew my mind. He was like, when you go into a room and let's say you have like 20% of knowledge in your head, right? Like you know,
right.
He said, when you go into a room and all you do is talk to the other people, like you talk, like you're the only one talking, or you talk the majority of the time, then you know you're leaving there with 20% or whatever. Again, you're leaving with the same 20% you walked in with. He's like, but if you walk in there and you listen, he's like, then you're going to walk out with double. Like, you know, and we all think that it's our job to go in and tell everyone. And sometimes it is our job, but truly it's in the listening, right? That we keep gaining. And that's really,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You hit it right on the head. It's just, you got it, girl. I love it. And that's one thing I love about you and Ambi is you girls get it. I feel like I met my girls.
Thanks, girl. Yeah, you met your girls for sure. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I mean, and we wouldn't have met. Honestly, we wouldn't have met if it weren't for this podcast. So I love too how you know they're both so intertwined, and they keep feeding each other. And you know, Brandon giving me, you know, trusting me just with this idea and letting me run with it. Yeah. So grateful to him. And the result of it has been, I've gotten to meet like the most amazing people. It's like every person I talk to, like right now, I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I'm so lucky I get to talk to Melanie. I'm so lucky that I get to have a conversation with her like this. Like, this is like truly, I mean, it's just, it's uplifting me. And so, you know, this is amazing. So thank you.
And being the age thing, you're actually so beautiful. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
You're resonant with.
What did you say?
I resonate with you, with Ambi, with Brandon, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm 63 years old and I'm the same. We're all the same. It's just remarkable. And that in itself goes to show how strong this movement is. And I don't even want to call it a movement, how real life is. And I want people to get it. I want them to get it. I struggle with that because I want them to get it.
Oh, totally. We all struggle with that. I think you know, that was something that I struggled with the most in the beginning. And now,
me too.
Yeah. And now it's like, I think the cure for that, or the kind of way to get around that is to really, and that's why it's so amazing we have these communities, is to talk to people who do get it. Because when you do talk to people who do get it, it really shores it up for you. And you kind of need everyone else to get it less. And it like amplifies this vibration that we all have going on and attracts people. But speaking of the age thing, it's like while you were kind of talking about what you're talking about the age thing and how we're all the same, I got this little image in my head of how, like, age, it's like when you're tuned into source, right? When you're tuned into what we're tuned into, age is literally nothing but a number. It is a number, and that is it, because we're all tuned into the same source, and that's pure energy, right? And that's why we all feel the same, because we're all from the same energy. But it's when you believe in age, when you believe in the lie, the illusion.
Well, you're brainwashed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you believe in the illusion, right?
Yeah,
it tires
it's an illusion.
It tires you out. It makes you feel like you're declining, and that's not who you are. So it pulls you away, right? So it's interesting. And so, it's funny because you sent me your intro, and you for a second, you were like, oh, like maybe you don't put the 63 years old thing in there. I was like, oh, that's the part I love the most, because I love
that's my illusion.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
One of the things I fight with a lot.
Totally.
And then when you said, no, I kind of like that, I thought about it, and I just kind of meditated on it a little bit. I said, exactly, it should be in there. Yeah.
I think it's the best. I think it's the best because it really represents, we're all, like you said, we're all the same, but we all have different little avatars going on here, but that's the best part, because it shows us that we're the same at the core. And I love that.
It does show that we're all the same. And what's funny, talking about that urgency to want to tell people and wanting my family and friends to feel this, you feel different towards people because what you're putting out there is coming back. So it feels like everywhere I go, I want to say people are different, but I'm different.
Yeah.
And I love that co-creating with other people, and it's getting easier when they don't feel this way over other things. It could be buying something at Starbucks and feeling the receptionist, and what I'm putting out there, I'm getting back. It's just it's beautiful. I'm Abraham Hicksing out here.
Oh. Me too, all the time, 20 hours a day. So I am picking up what you're putting down for sure.
Oh, good.
Oh, I love that. And, so let me ask you, Melanie, what is one thing that you think would benefit every P-head to know or understand as they continue on their own journey?
Well, I'm very big on meditation. I think that is the key to connecting with your inner being in the beginning. When you're just starting to get this, meditation has, to me, is the key, because we have so much busyness going on. So I think what I would tell people, what is the word? When you are alive, when you see this, it's so easy. When you get it, you can't go back. And I think, I feel that strongly. And I think what I'd like other P-heads to know is you're alive. It's aliveness. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah. You're alive. You're here. We take it for granted so much. And it's not, it's not to say, like, I was just kind of talking about this, how it's like, for example, like a baby, right? And it's like, it starts out it's just a thought. It's just an idea, right? A baby, it's not there yet. It's just literally a possibility that could happen. But as the parents of the baby, in whatever scenario they're in, come together, it becomes more of a possibility, and then it becomes more of a possibility, and then someone ends up pregnant, and then it is manifesting, and then this baby is like it's growing, and like, anyway, it eventually comes into manifestation, like we create out of nothing, right?
Exactly.
And then there's life, and that's what we are. It's like we have. If you think about it from a an existential, I don't know if that's the right word. If you think about it from, I think existential point of view, it's like we have created ourselves to be here so that we can touch things and feel each other and feel all the emotions. Because if, and Abraham talks about this too, it's like, because people are like, well, why did we come here? Why did we come here in these bodies if, the non-physical is so great, if everything's great there and you guys can experience our vortexes and you guys can see all the things that we don't have instantly, right? Why did we come here where none of that's happening? And they're like, because like you wanted to be here to feel things, to touch things, to experience the joy of getting there and of actually being in the physical, because the alternative is non-physical. So it really is such a gift. And I think that's an amazing point to bring up, to be alive and in these bodies. It's like we can feel things, and
you can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I'll get caught in my daily routine, and something will get me or something will bug me, and you know what? Within a second, you go back. You can't. Mm-hmm. You won't go back once you know this. To me, that's the best way I can describe it. Because even if you do, you correct it. Your inner being. It's just such a beautiful feeling. And you want everybody to know it, but everybody in their time will know it. I hope. That's my desire.
Definitely. I mean, I like to think about something that's helped me soothe that is, because I think we all deeply want that as well, but something that's helped me soothe that is, realizing that like I was just a few years ago, I had no idea about any of this stuff, right? And now look at my involvement in it. So it's like, that helps me have patience with other people, because I'm like, look, they're just where I was a few years ago. It's totally okay. They're going to have their own experience in their time, and that's fine, There's hope for them. Like there's, I don't mean to make it sound like that, but I just mean, just because they're not
I get it.
with it now, right, doesn't mean they're not going to be with it later. Yeah. So, well, that's...
I have it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I work as a nurse, and I check people in all day. And one of the things that I love to do, and we get angry people that come in there, is that they're going to smile before they leave me. And it's something that I don't even really have to work hard at. That is my desire. And I just feel like it's so strong that it happens.
Wait, say it again, that they're going to what before they leave you?
I want them to smile before they leave.
Oh,
and that is my intention.
Wow.
I want them, I have certain things that I love to do when I meet with a patient. And if they're angry and mad, the best feeling is I want them either laughing or smiling. That's the depth of who I am. I desire that for them. And it always happens, Alexa, always, because I want it so strongly. My inner being is so powerful. Yeah.
And you expect it now too, right? Because you've had so much success.
Oh, yeah.
And how does that usually transpire? Is it just you being you? Because you seem like I'd like you in the emergency room or wherever you are. I think you make me smile and laugh.
It's who I am. I think that everybody wants to laugh. Everybody wants to smile. Everybody wants to be happy. I don't think that people want to feel angry and mad. I just don't believe in the core of the person that's what they want to do. So I do believe it very strongly. And from the moment I open the door and say hello, I'm feeling a connection. On my part, I think it's both. And I want them to smile. I want them to feel somewhat joy. I mean, you're with patients that are in pain, and they need a little bit of joy, and I love giving it to them. Yeah,
that I love the visual of that, and I feel like it's you're like an angel on earth, like being like, hey, and reminding them of who they are, like at their core, reminding them of who they really are and what they really, who they are at their core. And I think that's just such a gift because, I've gone, I've, in those places or just in in medical settings for me is like, man, I love this idea. I love this idea of all of these people. Of all these people, especially the people I talked to here, like Tori was someone I talked to recently who works like in a government, like a government job, like but she's like this like bright light there, kind of like making other people happy. I imagine you in the medical system, like making people happy. I just love this idea of people like us who are infiltrating essentially these demographics, right? That typically aren't the happiest, maybe, and just being this bright light, just like we talk about, like we're all the lighthouses, right? And that lighthouses, go where it's dark, and that their job is to shine the light. And I love that idea. I love hearing that. So it's so amazing.
Abraham Hicks talks about what does she say about just being the light and being who you are. But there was a point I was getting to. Oh, she said, put this to a test. And that was just a little bit of, oh my. It becomes a part of who you are, but that little bit of put it to the test to see if it works resonated with me big time.
Yeah.
Because I'll play with it. I think she says play with it. And when someone's very angry, I'll just at that moment, and then all of a sudden it happens. I don't know, it's beautiful to watch. It is, and to feel in me. I'm the way I love my children, the way I love my friends. It just changes you. Beautiful.
I love that. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So do you have any like fun or inspiring manifestation stories or stories of synchronicity or anything like that you'd like to share?
I do. I think it's beautiful. I have for many years tried to connect with my mother. And I just never could. I'd feel her when I touch her picture, but I could not. I wanted to feel her being. I wanted to feel her next to me. And about 2 weeks ago, I was walking down a street next to me. I live next to the beach, and there's a little village. And I was walking up and down. I've probably done this hundreds of times, gone in every shop, know every detail. And then I looked up about 2 weeks ago, and right there is a shop that I had never been in, Alexa. Wow. And I looked at it, and I thought, that is so weird because I've been in every shop. And I decided I was going to go in, and I walked in, and the moment I walked in, this lady behind the counter looked like she was just a doll. And I said, this place is so balanced. It has jewelry, it has antiques, it has handbags, the most beautiful shop I'd been in. And I started kind of walking around, and at that moment, my mother was with me.
Wow.
And I've never, ever experienced that. She was with me. She loved to do that with me. And there she was. And you know why? Because I stopped worrying about it. I stopped thinking about it about 2 years ago. And it just happened. And it was her. And I felt her next to me. I felt her speaking to me.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's because I let it go. So there's my Abraham Hicksy thing.
Yeah.
I let it go. I made it more general. It wasn't such an urgency, and it happened. Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's wow. I love that because because I'm someone who, that inspires me, first of all, because, I feel like I'm so aware of all this stuff, but it's like people talk about that, how, Abraham talks about that as well. It's like, stop looking for them where they aren't, look for them where they are, and, relax about it all. But wow, that's so beautiful. And is that the first time that you've ever like felt a spirit?
That's the first time. Yeah.
Wow.
And that is, yeah.
That's amazing. That's so special. And did you feel, was that what you wanted? Like, was that a satisfying experience, like her being there?
Very satisfying. So satisfying that if it never happened again, I'd be okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's something. I no longer have that urgency. If it never happened again, it'd be okay. If it happened again, it would be okay. I'm keeping it it just feels good. And it felt so good to make that connection with her and to see her smile and the joy and excitement that she'd get going into a little shop with me.
Did it, I mean, because if you've never had an experience with a spirit before or anything, did it put you more at ease about, like that there, just confirm even further that like there is no death, that everything continues to go on?
Absolutely. And there's nothing scary. There's nothing negative. It's all just positive vibrations. And yet I could see her. I could see her as I remembered her, not as her dying, but as the beautiful, cute little lady that would go in these little shops with me. That's how I saw her. And I think once you know, I'm much more open now. If anybody wants to visit, I feel like I would be way okay with it. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that story. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's so amazing that you finally got to connect with her. That's great.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Alexa.
Thank you for sharing that. And this has just been so lovely. Like, I can't even describe my energy. I feel like you're doing to me what you do to, your patients. I'm just like, I'm smiling and I'm happy and I just feel so good. And this truly was a blessing. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share?
I do. I want to tell you how precious you are. Because I feel it very strongly that you are, I want you to know what you are. That's all I can say. I just want you to be confident in that.
Oh, thank you.
Because I think you're so precious. I love you and Ambi. I just think you're a precious, precious young lady.
Thank you so much. That truly means a lot. It really does. And I do need to hear that from time to time. So thank you.
Everybody does. We do. Yeah.
You are as well. And I'm just so happy we connected.
Good.
So happy this happened, and I can't wait for people to hear this one. Is anything else? I don't know if like you want to. I don't know if you want people to contact you or not, but if there's anything.
I do have a little exercise that I do with small groups. But I want to share it with you, but anybody can do it. It's not something anybody has to ask about. If they want, they can. When you have a group, and I have little groups of 4 or 5, I even had 6 just staying at my house, the hanging out for the weekend, or just I have a little women's group that we do. And you take a small index card, it's very simple, and you write your name on top. And everybody does it. And then you count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then on the back, you write everybody's name that's actually in the group. So first you have the person say 5 positive things about themselves and to write it down, and it's positive. And I've had different experiences all over. I'll tell you about it. But and then on the other side, they flip it and they write 1 positive person about every person in the group. And it opens the door for communication beyond what you can even imagine. Even if you have someone that doesn't feel as strongly as about this, it changes you. It changes the group dynamics. It's a beautiful, beautiful exercise. And some people, I've done a weekend and literally can't come up with 1, or it will take them all weekend to come up with 1. But it's a beautiful exercise that I wanted to share with people. I've shared it with friends and family, but I want to share it to the PHADs because it's so easy, and the vulnerability, the communication, it just builds a beautiful bond within a group, within a small group.
I I love that. And I'm also very interested in groups and group dynamics and all of that. So I think that's perfect.
Good.
Definitely everybody try that for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that too. So many little nuggets. And Melanie, you are a bright light, and keep doing what you're doing, and keep in touch with me because I like talking to you. And
good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetie.
Okay. Bye, everybody. That's it for this week's episode. If you're a listener with a story to share and are interested in being featured on a future episode of this special series, you can email me at alexa@positivehead.com. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear Brandon constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place we know of to do it. Period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. Otherwise, tune in next Friday for another P-Head Posse episode. And until then, as Brandon always says, journey well.